It's time for the big show with Andy Gallo and Country Jim. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Andy Gallo.
And I'm Country Jim.
And we've got our guest, Jeff Woolsey. Welcome.
Well, thank you, sir.
Man, I tell you what, I have not heard you live, but when Country Jim told me that he had you lined up to be on the program, I said, well, I'm going to do some digging here, and got into YouTube. And, man, I'm going to tell you what, I like your repertoire big time.
Well, thank you.
I think I listened to the old Jackie Ward, Big Blue Diamonds.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, some Johnny Bush.
Yes, sir.
A lot of good dance hall stuff.
Yes, sir. That's all we know. That's what we love.
That's good stuff. That's real good stuff. Yeah.
Do you want to, well, before we talk about dance halls, and I do want to get to that, tell the folks about your story. I know your dad was in music, but tell me about your childhood and your folks.
Sure. Actually, and it was my stepdad who was the musician, who was a singer, and he had a local band around the Houston area. His name was Harry Griffith, and he had a band, Harry Griffith and the Other Country, and he was big time around 149 back then, them days, right? And he was the house band at Little Mo's Ballroom on 149 for 11 years. He played around at Champions Ballroom and the Polka Dot and Esquire Ballroom over there, right? And so I grew up going to all those places, mainly Little Mo's. That's where I kind of got introduced into the music and all that. When I was like 4 years old, he and my mom were dragging me out to the dance hall. I mean, he played there every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and probably sometimes Sunday.
Did you get on stage with him and play?
Oh, I did. Yeah. I did. He drugged me up there, and from what I understand, anyway, the first song I ever sang on stage was "C.C. Rider," an old Elvis Presley song, right? Yeah. And the owner of the club, she pulled a tablecloth off the table, old red tablecloth, and threw it around my back like one of those Elvis capes, you know.
Right. You see my Elvis picture right down there,
Oh
right?
yeah, there you go. There you go.
So how old were you then?
4.
Wow.
Man.
Wow.
I was 4, and I think probably, I assume, the attention I got then, I just loved it, you know. But
You know, a fella who's played a few gigs with me was your drummer for years, Jimmy Calhoun.
yes,
Now, so his dad was a steel player?
yes.
Did his dad play with your stepdad?
He did not. He did not.
Okay.
No, we didn't cross paths, you know, that far back, really.
Gotcha.
Jimmy and I didn't meet till 1991, but that was right about the time that my dad was retiring from the music business.
When did you put your first band together?
1988.
Okay.
And it was funny thinking about it now that one New Year's Eve, I know he did this for me, but one New Year's Eve, I was out matter of fact, my dad was playing at the Pasadena Elks Lodge on New Year's Eve in 1988. He moved from Little Mo's Ballroom as the house band for 11 years, moved over to the Pasadena Elks Lodge, and was there for many, many years too.
And that's still in existence and doing gigs.
Is that right?
Sure. Yes, it is.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I hadn't been in there probably since then, actually.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But anyway, one New Year's Eve after the gig, he fired his entire band. And I hired them all.
Was that planned?
I think it might have been planned because he knew
yeah.
I was about wanting to get ready to go on my own, and I knew all those guys. And
Right.
Was it a fiddle and steel band?
it was no fiddle at the time. It was steel guitar, lead guitar, drums, bass, and myself.
Yeah.
When you put your band together, I mean, the music that you do now, which I love it, it's your typical dance hall. Is that what you started out with? Thinking to yourself, well, I want to put something together that is definitely it's not a listening band, but it is a dance band.
For sure.
Is that what you're looking for?
For
Okay.
sure, yeah, for sure. But that's all I knew. My dad was a country dance band, and that's what he did. He played to the crowd.
What singers influenced him? Whose music did he?
Oh gosh, well, Elvis was number one. He liked him, but Ray Price, Stonewall Jackson.
Yeah.
He loved Stonewall Jackson, Merle Haggard, Conway Twitty, guys like that. And it really just just a big wide variety of country singers, and he would love to try to do impersonations and stuff on stage, things like that.
Any of the guys that played with you way back then still in the land of the living?
Kenny Hoover is one. Kenny.
Sure.
He was my very first steel player.
Wow.
Yep, very first steel player. And to be honest, I haven't heard from the other guy, the other three guys. Matter of fact, Kenny, his brother Jerry played drums, and then his other brother David Hoover played bass, and then a fellow named Wesley Bork played guitar. But I haven't heard from those other guys. But I see Kenny every now and then.
Yeah.
You ever sit down and do some writing?
It's been a long time. It's probably been, I bet it's been at least 10 years, maybe more since I've written anything. Got a whole book of stuff. A lot of it just kind of half songs here or there,
Sure.
But I love to write, but I always feel like I have to be just in the right frame of mind to do it.
Yeah. We've talked to several people, and that's kind of what they say. Got to be in the mood. Got to have that one thing that happened that caused me to come up with that one line.
I feel like I've been pretty lucky when I have written a song, just because I don't consider myself a writer, really, But I enjoy it.
Yeah. Do you do some of your stuff occasionally on stage? Or?
Nothing.
Okay.
No, but I do. My dad wrote a few songs, and we do those. We've recorded those. On my first album, we recorded those. They're just straight up country shuffles is what it is. And that's just what I grew up with and what I've always loved.
Right.
It really would not be a big plus, in my humble opinion, for the venues that you play and the dances that you play. Song recognition on part of the crowd is a big factor.
It is.
And to do a bunch of originals that they never heard before in their life would not would not be a plus.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. What I feel like, what I really enjoy is because we recorded, just say, these two songs that my dad wrote, a few more too that he wrote. We recorded them, so folks buying our records, they know them just from what they're hearing.
Yeah.
So it's pretty neat to see the folks dancing by, singing the words of the songs and all that. And even when we record studio records now, I try to record obscure music for the majority of the album, right? And because I don't want to just release me. Right. It's been done a million times.
Yeah.
Right. So I want to go back and find stuff like from Doug Collins or Marty Martell, just some obscure, or even obscure Farron Young, obscure Johnny Bush, obscure Ray Price. And then when folks are dancing by and they're still singing the words, I'm thinking, there's no way that they ever heard that these folks didn't hear that song before, besides our records, really.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So I still feel like it's ours.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, and I was going to say too, when the stuff that I was listening to, which I heard you do, I think "Image of Me," Conway Twitty, and Big Blue Diamond, and some Johnny Bush stuff. I thought to myself, I'm going, I know that was done by those artists, but when you do them, you make it your own the way you do it. I mean, it still sounds the same, but yet there are some things you kind of go, okay, well, that's pretty cool, you know.
And we always try to put our own twist on it, I mean, nothing crazy or whatever, but
it still sounds. I mean, it's you still know that's whatever Big Blue Diamond or Conway Twitty a song or a Jackie Ward or whatever, So yeah,
no, it is. I mean, Jim's right. I mean, it's folks like to hear what they're familiar with. And
absolutely.
That's what they're there for. I would love to be able to take a bunch of original songs that I wrote or somebody else wrote. I mean, you talked about Jimmy. Jimmy wrote a bunch of songs, and then we do one of those on stage. But that's just not what people are there for. I mean, everybody wants to hear "Release Me." Everybody wants to hear whatever "Silver Wings," right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's the big ones.
Oh yeah.
That's the big
I was playing the Western Club over in Sarasota, where you're a kind of a kingpin over there. and I had a fan come up between songs and request a song. He said, can you do My Feet Keep Walking Back to You? And I said, you mind if we put some shoes on it?
Oh my God!
But
oh, man.
I mean, that's so. Talk to me about that. Talk to me about because singer-songwriters typically play a lot of restaurants and non-dance clubs, and I know. I had some friends that were big fans of my daughter, who's written 3 albums of original material.
Great stuff.
Oh, yeah. She's good. Yeah, she's real good.
And
Real good.
we had some mutual friends, and they would go to hear her a lot when she was doing restaurants and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked her one time, I said, Leslie, why won't they come to hear me? And it wasn't just because, Dad, you don't sing all that well. She said,
But you've got a unique sound.
no. She said, Dad, you just do covers. And they're into original.
Right,
That's what they love.
Mm-hmm.
They love singer-songwriter kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And but talk to me about dance halls. Would you say of the shows that you do, I mean, well over half of them would be in dance halls, right?
Oh yeah.
Nearly.
Oh yeah. Nearly all of them.
And say something about, I mean, way back. I've got a calendar that was a Fayette County calendar featuring dance halls.
That's a
Okay.
unique calendar.
It was amazing how many old dance halls were in just in Fayette
Oh
County.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And they were all over the state. And there's probably less than 20% now
Right.
than what there were then.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see any kind of future? Maybe the ones that still are in existence, it's been reduced down to ones that are going to make it and survive, or
Well, actually, if you would have asked me this question 5 years ago, I probably would have said, "This is it, right? And it's just downhill from here." But over the last year or so, and I would say maybe since COVID, I think I've seen a resurgence in the last couple of years. We've got a new dance hall popping up over here, and nothing fancy. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about putting up a dance hall,
Right.
And they want it to look old. It's just an old barn, and right with a great wood dance floor, and here we go. We got a new place to play over here, and we got a new place to play over here. Something, in my opinion, something happened with COVID when COVID hit that made people realize that okay, people take things for granted, right? They take it for granted that, that they can go to the dance hall and go see a particular band whenever they want to, right? Oh, they're coming back around. That's why I don't want to play somewhere once a month, for me personally, and I've had lots of offers to do that, but I won't do it simply because, well, heck, look, nobody's going to go see George Strait across the street every night.
No.
Right? I mean, he'll be back over there tomorrow.
Yep.
Right? But anyhow, I think during COVID, when you couldn't go anywhere, it made people realize that, okay, this could go away. And it made people think, I've seen it at the festivals, and I've seen it in the dance halls, where to me, our crowds are bigger and better than ever right now.
Wow.
So I feel like there is a resurgence, and it's coming back around.
Do you ever do anything with you and just your guitar? I noticed you didn't have a guitar in your hand when you were singing.
No, I don't play guitar.
Okay.
Yep, I don't play. Back in the 90s, when we were going strong in the 90s, I thought I was going to learn how to play. And I did learn a couple of chords and threw it around my neck, and I couldn't play, and I couldn't concentrate on singing. And, I threw it down, and I never picked it back up. Yeah.
There's another successful guy that is just singer, doesn't play, from San Antonio. What's his name?
Billy Mata.
Billy Mata, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's God. You want to talk about one of the best singers around? That guy's.
But he don't play.
Well, not that I've ever seen.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I want to say something, and I love the fact that that Andy can always edit stuff out. But and you're
Now, I know you're a preacher, so I know you're not going to go blue on me here real quick.
no,
you
it's
know,
not
so
blue, but
okay, all right.
but he is a really modest and great guy. Jeff Woolsey is.
Oh, well, thank you.
But that wasn't where I was going with it. I was going to say that kind of a decade or two ago, there was a fella who was really drawing crowds and really doing good at dance halls. And I knew him and I knew his band. His name was Jake Hooker.
Oh, yeah.
And he developed some throat trouble. I'm not going there with that either. But and he had a change in his life spiritually and started playing by his own choice, I'm sure, a lot less than what he used to play. Mm-hmm. So somebody there was a niche there of being the heir apparent to the throne. He's getting uncomfortable with this already. And I'm telling you, my friend, you do have it going on. And I don't think you can blame that people got cabin fever with COVID, and now Jeff Woolsey's crowds are getting better. It's your singing, and it's the show you put on, and it's the dance hall.
And you got a tight band. I mean, they are.
Well, I'm very fortunate, and I appreciate you saying that. I mean, that means a lot.
How do you? I mean, I've got some dear friends who are really great musicians and put together really good bands. That I've seen some venues where that I've been to see them, and there'd be 30, 40, 50 people, and Jeff Woolsey and the Dance Hall King selling that place out. What's
the formula? That's what you're asking.
What's the formula?
Right, yeah.
Well, first off, you got to tell somebody about it, and I feel like we do a good job of promoting.
Right.
Right. You know, well, what's the three most important things you can do to help draw a crowd? Promote, and promote.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the first thing.
Yeah.
I feel like that it's a tight band. I'm very fortunate. I mean, you know my whole band, and just all good people. They're all professional guys. I mean, Chuck Crow, piano player, he just retired. He was with me for 15 years. Eddie Moore on bass, he's still with me. We're in our 16th year. We've known each other since we were kids. Dixie Hankins on drums, top-notch drummer. She's been with me for 10 years. Kevin Carter, I think this is going into his 5th year with us, but I've known Kevin forever. Mm-hmm. And Jody Cameron is on his 7th or 8th year, right? And you're not going to beat him, right? So all these folks coming together and playing this music, and but to me, the band's tight. We promote well. Everybody, I feel like, is real friendly, but we're all having a good time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's the thing, is we're all having a good time, and I feel like that a lot of just things I've seen over the years, that if folks, I feel like I may have an advantage in this point just because I don't play an instrument, right? So I can move around, and I'm doing something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But folks that may play something, they got to stand there, right? And it may not seem quite as exciting, maybe. I don't know. Mm-hmm. For me, I'm really kind of a reserved person, really. Right? But on stage, you would never think so.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know who that person is when I'm on stage,
sure,
to be honest with you. But it's,
sure,
we all project that we're having a good time because we are.
Absolutely.
And we're having a good time with each other.
Absolutely.
And people have said that so many times to me that, we have such a good time and we could tell y'all love it because we do. We love the music. Mm-hmm. But what I feel like that I really try hard to do this, because I certainly don't always have a great night, for sure. None of us do. But what we try to always do is draw the people in to us, and we're not just playing at them; we're playing for them. Mm-hmm. I feel like that. I'm not that smart of a guy, but I feel like I know how to run a dance.
Yeah,
right. And and I know what gets them out there, and we don't We won't stand around and talk about it in between. It's just, you've seen our stuff. It's just boom, 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 one after the next.
Right.
And we don't give people time to take a breath.
Right.
Keep
them on the floor.
Yeah. So we just try to bring energy to the room, and in turn, the crowd gives us energy back.
Yeah.
And we're just, to me, it's just a great combination.
Right.
Man, I think you hit the nail squarely on the head. You said what I really think about it. I mean, I see it in your Facebook posts, media, whatever, when you're advertising the gig. Hey, gang, we're going to be Saturday night at blah de blah, and it's going to be a party, and it's going to be great. Y'all don't want to miss this?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And then on the gig, and Hooker did that. I mean, I think he had some of the same basis for success that you're having.
Oh, I'll tell you what, man. Jay Hooker is a huge reason why I'm playing music right now. Seriously. You talked about Jimmy, right? Yeah. So my band through the 90s, right? We played all top 40 music back then. That's what you had to do then to keep working. Mm-hmm. Nobody, at least what I saw, nobody wanted to hear Release Me at the time,
right?
In our crowd.
Yeah. You segued into what I want you to talk about. 93Q band, mm-hmm. and talk about your evolution from. Tell me like what your set list was like back then. I mean, were you playing Strait and George Strait and whatever? Or?
We played George Strait. We played everything. Toby Keith, Tim McGraw, whoever it was, right? And look, the band back then was awesome. It was different players and all this. But it was the same kind of thing. It was high energy, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. But it was all, we were rehearsing every week. We learned one or two new songs. Whatever was new on the radio, we were on it, mm-hmm. right? Yeah. And that's what we had to do to keep working. And we worked a lot,
right?
A lot.
What were some typical gigs?
Tin Hall was one.
Oh, so you were playing dance halls?
Oh, we were playing dance halls. Gosh.
But you were playing 4th of July parties, or 90Q band.
Oh yeah, the 93Q deal. I mean, we did a lot of private stuff for them. Sponsored by Coors Light. The biggest, at least the largest crowd anyway that we ever played and then 93Q had us on part of this deal was the Freedom Fest in Houston.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah,
and it was on Buffalo Bayou, and mm-hmm. it was us. You talk about a sandwich now. It was a local blues band,
right?
And then it was Steppenwolf, and then it was us, and then it was Foghat, and then it was Rick Trevino, and there was 250,000 people.
Wow!
Everybody was across the bayou, and maybe some people on this side, but that was the craziest thing. Just that mix of music.
Now, how were you billed back then?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because that's just I don't know how many folks know this, but I told you my stepdad, musician, that's how everybody knew me, mm-hmm. right? Was Harry Griffith's son, right? So when I started my first band in 1988, I promoted myself, and my name was Jeff Griffith. That's how everybody knew me. If I would have said Jeff Woolsey, nobody would have knew who it was, right? Mm. My first gig was at the house. It was at Little Mo's Ballroom as the house band where my dad left, right? So I stole his band and I stole his gig. So it was Jeff Griffith. Well, when Jimmy and I met, that was in 1988, and we played there for a few years. When I started drifting out and we started doing some other things, I met Jimmy in 1991 and started putting some other pieces of the band together, right? And it became Jeff Griffith and the Taste of Texas Band, right? And that's what it was all through the 90s. And in 1997, I retired, got out of the music business totally.
Wow.
I mean, I've always worked a full-time job, right? Always did. And we were playing probably 140 dates a year.
Wow.
In the Houston area, just Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, rehearsing on Mondays. It was just, so back then it was just, I'd gotten too much. It was just, okay, I got to be done.
Right.
So I did. And I was retired for about 9 years. We played all these cool places with 93Q. We got in with, gosh, I feel terrible. I've forgotten his name, but owner of Rockefellers at the time, Don Gomez, big time promoter here, just a great person. And he latched on to us and brought us into Rockefellers. We played with so many stars that came into town. It was just very fortunate. Well, after I'd been gone away for a long time, Jimmy asked me to we started the band again back in 2006 and got the itch. And we kind of just, because we were comfortable, we went back to just kind of doing the same thing we were doing, right? We're playing the stuff we were playing in the 90s, all that. Well, Jimmy and I went to Snyder, to the Western Swing Festival. And to go back to my Jake Hooker story, Jake and I are just close friends, and I just love this guy. I mean, when I was at that festival, Jimmy was playing with a swing band, the Wild River Band. Jake Hooker was on the show. Jody Nix was on the show. Bobby Flores was on the show, who we just lost, unfortunately.
Yeah.
When I heard those three guys, I'm getting goosebumps right now thinking about it.
Now, the hair on the back of my head is standing up.
When I heard those three guys playing, because, look, no matter what we were doing in the 90s, all this top 40 stuff, and we would interject Ray Price here or there,
Yeah.
It was kind of like an original, when you were throwing that in, right? Nobody knew what you were doing.
Nobody knew, yeah.
But we did it for us,
Yep.
because that's what we wanted to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when I heard those three guys, we drove home, that 8-hour trip home, and I told Jimmy, I said, I'm not ever playing another top 40 song again. I said, this is what we've always wanted to do, and these guys are doing it, and people love it.
Yep.
And this is what we're going to do. And if people don't want to come see us, don't care. This is what we're doing.
Yep. Okay.
And when I started back, when we did start back, like really started back, and picked up on, okay, this is all we're doing is dance hall music. We're going to do the music that we grew up on, that we love. I realized that there was another Jeff Griffith in San Antonio, and he was a country music singer. And we had one date where things got confused. So people thought they were coming to see somebody else, and blah 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 blah. I said, you know what? We need to change. So at that time, I changed it to Jeff Woolsey, my actual name.
That is your actual name.
That's my actual name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that was the best thing that I ever did.
Yeah.
Right. It is, because I don't know why, but okay, now this is really who I am. I'm Jeff Woolsey, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I was going by Jeff Griffith all this time, which was great.
Right. Yep.
But Jeff Woolsey is my name, and it's that's how everybody knows me. Very few people know the Jeff Griffith part of it, right? But heck, we recorded an album under Jeff Griffith and the Taste of Texas. I did.
Really?
Oh yeah, we did. It was all original songs. Matter of fact.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that Jimmy was a part of writing those and all that. So it's just been a great 15-year, 16 into our 16th year run now. But back to this deal with Jake, guys like Jake, Bobby Flores, Jody Nix, Justin Trevino. Those folks are so responsible for me just right now playing music, because I'm friends with all those guys, love all those guys. I mean, if I'm not playing music anymore, if I left music business today, I'd still want to go see those guys every weekend if I could, because they're doing exactly, they're my mentors, you know?
Yep. That's good stuff, though.
Well, I think we're about out of time, but next week we're going to have another friend of yours, Tony Booth.
Okay, yep.
And Tony Booth is a guy who is now doing it as a second sideline career kind of thing. But there was a time when he was a big national deal.
He was huge.
And so I think there's an interesting scenario there of people like you who have kept the job, the career going, and yet still able When people go to hear you, and I guess Jake, he was a farrier, right?
Yes.
He did shoe horses or something. But when people go to hear your excellent band, they're not seeing any difference between the professional band that they would hear if they went to Nashville to the Grand Ole Opry. It can be done, and you prove that it can be done.
Well, I appreciate that. Look, I've been very, very fortunate for many years to have the band that I've had. Just being on stage with these guys and gals with Dixie. They're just incredible musicians.
Yeah.
Right. And believe me, they're my security blanket. Like you, I couldn't go out and I think play or sing even if I could play guitar, because I'm so used to them being around me and keeping me safe. That's who I count on every night. And we all play off of each other so much. Everybody kind of knows what each other's going to do, and they're so great. I'm just so fortunate.
I've got a rockabilly friend who's a really great local rockabilly guy. And he actually did, I think, about an 11-night tour up through the hill country with him on rhythm guitar, playing no fills, no leads, and an upright bass and a drummer, and having no instrumental breaks, nothing but just the vocal. And that is bizarre to me. I can't. Can you even imagine that?
I cannot. I cannot imagine that. No.
Wow. But this has been wonderful, my friend.
It has been.
Oh, I've really enjoyed this. Thank y'all.
Just a quick one though. You said earlier when you were back in the '90s, y'all booked about 140 dates a year. What do you do now?
Well, we're probably doing about 50.
Okay. So you're booked almost every Saturday. Friday and Saturday maybe.
Yeah, it averages out to about that, but we might take a few weeks off here or there, and then we're doing maybe 2 in a weekend or something like that. Yeah. So it's about 50 dates a year.
Yeah. And that's what you want to do, right?
That's about it. Yeah. Boy, y'all are working a lot, folks. Y'all working a lot. We're working as much as we want to.
Right. That's good. That's good.
My friend has your drummer. Our mutual drummer friend, Jimmy, has talked about a guy that I've used on steel years ago, Dan Kirby.
Oh, yeah.
Now, did he play with y'all? Where did he fit in?
He did. Dan Kirby, he started with me in 1991 as well. I don't remember maybe at Tumbleweed.
Texas
Tumbleweed or something, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But that guy, he played with Mo Bandy, and man, that guy could play some John Huey stuff on steel now.
Yeah.
Just a great friend. I haven't talked to Dan in a long time, but he started with us back then, and then he actually started back with us when we first started back in 2006 for just a short stint. Wow. I tell you, I've been very fortunate to have some great steel players with Dan Kirby, David Farenthold, Junior Knight, now Jody Cameron. What are you going to do?
Right. Yeah. And you got to have a steel and you got to have a fiddle if you're going to play dance halls.
Oh yeah,
that's all there is to it.
Got to do it.
You got to have it.
Got to do it.
That's good, man. Well, you know what? We are out of time, but I sure appreciate you being with us, Jeff.
No, thank you for having me.
Good to meet you and have you here. I tell you, it's been a lot of great stories.
We really want people to watch this. He's going to promote. He's going to help us promote this podcast.
Hey, speaking of promote, I got something right here we can do. Yeah, if you have any questions or comments, you can email those to me. The Big Show, Andy Gallo at gmail.com. Also, you want to support the podcast, we sure would appreciate that. There's a link below that you'll see when you pull up the podcast on Spotify, and you can hit that. And if you'd like to donate, we sure would appreciate that. And if you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe, like, and share.
Yes.
So that'll work right there for sure. So,
Jeff, thanks again, my brother.
Thank you all very much.
Appreciate it. See you folks later.
Thanks for listening to The Big Show with Andy Gallo and Country Jim. This has been a Unicap Media presentation.